Among voters 18 to 29, Kennedy was selected by 34% of the respondents against Biden. Someone make this make sense. I understand why Biden is polling low against young voters because of the genocide happening in Gaza. But why is some of that support going to Kennedy, who's a total psychopath when it comes to Gaza? Watch this.
Warfare is about 8 or 9 to 1. Civilians to military.
And you think that's fine? 80% civilian death, you're fine?
I don't think a single civilian death is fine. I'm not single, but when we went into Germany to get out the Nazis, we killed 2 million Germans. We bombed Dresden.
This talking point is insane, and you hear it constantly. Oh, but why do you care that so many civilians are being massacred in Gaza? Because back in the 40s, we bombed Dresden, we killed millions of civilians in Germany, and it wasn't right then. But out of World War II came the Geneva Conventions. The reason why the Geneva Conventions happened in the fucking first place is so that a repeat of something like World War II would not happen. And yet they keep using it. Continue.
Washington Post just reported that Israel dropped U.S.-supplied white phosphorus in an attack in Lebanon in a way that is inconsistent with the laws of war, directly impacting a civilian population. Is this or any other of Israeli conduct in this war, is this something that you think should be investigated for potential violations of international law?
Again, if Israel dropped white phosphorus on civilian populations illegally, then they should be prosecuted for war crimes.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's strong evidence that they've done that, and Israel absolutely denies it. There is.
He's like, if Israel did it. First of all, it's already been confirmed that Israel did drop white phosphorus, not just in Lebanon, but in Gaza. Second of all, they don't care about international law. Oh, they should be prosecuted for war crimes. They should be prosecuted for war crimes, but likely they're not going to because he defends everything they do. I like too how he's like, the Israeli government denies those reports. They deny everything. They're congenital liars. And of course, when you can't answer the question or confront it, you just accuse people of anti-Semitism. Go.
Are we just going after the Jews? Why is it only one Israel does it? Let me just finish this right now.
Our tax dollars are going to fund what's going on, and the visuals of these children being killed and losing their parents and the rubble and the total destruction.
It's excruciating watching what's happened. But why are we blaming Israel? Why are we
because
blaming
they're the ones dropping the bombs with our dollars?
They have to get at Hamas. They have to destroy Hamas. And Hamas, unfortunately, built tunnels for themselves, but they did not build bomb shelters for their people. And Israel has told people, move to the south. There's food trucks there. There's medicine there. There's fuel there.
But there's not.
It's only not there.
The area they told them to go to is an area that is the size of LAX airport. It is a desert wasteland. There are no UN flag facilities. In fact, if you ask the Secretary General of the UN, he'll tell you there are no safe places in Gaza. You already have 1.8 million people who have been displaced from their homes. So, at what point do you say, okay, it's enough? Because the other piece of this, even if you say, and I know you're not saying this, but even if you say, I don't care about the Palestinian lives, they got to do what they got to do. It's the cost of war. What are you going to do? There's also a lot of evidence that what they're actually doing is fomenting increasing support for Hamas. Because if you think about it, if you're a kid and your parents get blown up, what kind of politics do you think you're going to have when you grow up? Isn't that going to be tremendously radicalizing and incredibly compromising to the security of Israelis alike?
So how would you get rid of Hamas?
Well,
if you're Israel.
Well, I'm not running for president of the United States, number one. But number two, I think we have a model for this in a sense from the way we went in and approached bin Laden. So it was a targeted raid. If you're actually going to do this, you do a counter-terror operation where you go in a targeted way. You create a wedge between Hamas and the civilian population. And we see how this works in the past because previously in Israeli society, when there were pathways to peace that were on the table, where the Palestinian civilian population felt that they had a chance at negotiating some sort of a peaceful outcome, guess what? Support for Hamas falls off a cliff. It's almost one-to-one relationship with a more brutal response from Israelis for support for radicalism that there is.
You can filibuster.
You can filibuster? No, see, this is what I'm talking about. She gives a concrete answer, which, why is he asking her? She's not the one running for president. And then he goes, why are you filibustering? You can filibuster all you want. No, bro, you don't have an answer. This entire interview was insane. I'm focusing on the demented answers he gave on Israel, but the entire thing just revealed how full of shit he is. He's a free speech absolutist and First Amendment this and that, but then he capes for Elon Musk banning from the river to the sea on Twitter. He doesn't oppose states cracking down on people who support BDS. So spare me this free speech absolutist bullshit, because when it came to this anti-vax lunacy, it's all, no one should be telling me that I can't say lunatic things on vaccines. But then when it comes to Israel and Gaza, all of a sudden it's corporations have the right to do whatever they want and the state should crack down on BDS, full of shit. But it gets even more deranged, if you can believe it.
By offering some other path that's not terrorism and not violence.
What is that path?
It's a path to two-state solution or some sort of a just and lasting peace.
And the Palestinians not only have rejected that, but Hamas, its whole purpose was the reason that Hamas was able to get all this popular support and take over was because of its opposition to any negotiation.
Hamas just came out and said that they support Israel's PLO and recognize Israel's right to exist. On the other hand, you have the ambassador of Iran, you have the Israeli ambassador to the UK saying we will absolutely no to a two-state solution.
I just cannot let you tell that's just not true.
It just happened.
Ismail Haniyeh was on TV on Al Jazeera yesterday saying we're going to do this again and again and again. Hamas is a criminal enterprise.
Sure.
See, the Palestinian, and you talk about solutions for the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people are arguably the most pampered people by international aid organizations.
Are you kidding me?
No,
even before this war, 78% of people in Gaza said they had, not enough food to eat.
Right. And why is that? Why are you blaming
Well,
Israel?
in part, it's Hamas, and in part, it's the fact that Israel imposed a blockade and talked about putting them on a diet.
That right there was one of the most deranged, demented, psychotic things I've heard someone say during this entire thing. It goes on like that. It goes on and on and on. You guys should go watch the entire interview. It's on Breaking Point's channel. Everything he says about Israel and Gaza is either not true or he dodges it and does whataboutism or changes the subject when she brings up facts. You heard that, right? The Palestinian people are arguably the most pampered people by international aid organizations. What? As Krystal rightly pointed out, they don't have food. Even before October 7th, they were food insecure because Israel controls everything that goes in and out of Gaza and purposefully makes it so they can't eat a lot. And when she lays out those facts, he goes, well, why is that Israel's fault? I don't know, because Israel controls. International aid organizations haven't been able to get into certain areas of Gaza to even help. And Gaza, more than any place else on the planet, has had more doctors and more people from international aid organizations get killed. Now, while it is true that there are some really wealthy Hamas officials living in other countries that are still fear-mongering and fomenting war talk, an article just came out the other day saying Hamas could recognize Israel to end the war in Gaza. A senior Hamas official suggested the terror group could recognize the state of Israel in order to end the current war between Israel and Gaza. Musa Abu Marzouk stated in an interview with the news website AI Monitor from his office in the Qatari capital Doha, "You should follow the official stance. The official stance is that the PLO has recognized the state of Israel." But Kennedy's like, I'm not going to let you lie. I'm not going to let you say that when no one said that. Well, he did say that. Again, two things can be fucking true at once. Some Hamas officials are going on TV and being like, no, we're just going to keep doing October 7th over and over and over. But some, like the one I just referenced in that article, are saying, hey, if we stop the war, we can negotiate a settlement. And before anyone's like, you can't negotiate with terrorists, you can't negotiate with Hamas, get over it. This is what needs to happen. You need to get the fuck over it and start negotiating with them, because right now they are the ones running Gaza. And the argument that, oh no, you can't negotiate with Hamas because they're terrorists. Okay, well then you could say that about Netanyahu. Netanyahu is clearly a terrorist, and so are a lot of the right-wingers in his cabinet. So should they say they're not going to negotiate with him? And meanwhile, while they're all saying, we can't negotiate because we have no one to negotiate with, you've got tons of Israeli officials literally coming out and saying out loud that they see no path to a two-state solution. And even if it's not a two-state solution, a one-state solution, whatever it is, any type of peace negotiation, they're coming out and saying it's not going to happen ever. The Israel envoy to the UK says that they will not accept a two-state solution after the Gaza war ends. And she is only one of so many of the cabinet officials that have come out and been like, no, that's never on the table. There is going to be no peace. But the double standard remains. When Israel and their lunatic government members come out and say, we're just going to bombard Gaza, we're just going to overtake it, we're just going to wipe all the people out, there's never going to be a peace settlement, everyone's like, yeah. But if anybody from the Palestinian side says the same or has the same type of rhetoric, all of a sudden it's up, threatening Israel, they're trying to defend themselves. If you care about what's happening in Gaza, and if you are a single voter on that issue, then I need you to explain to me why the fuck RFK would even be an option for you.